Hello, welcome here or welcome back. My name is Michaela. I'm a wife, a mom, and a knitter from British Columbia, Canada, and this is Galanthus Knits. Hi, it's nice to have you join me. Today I just wanted to update you a little bit on some of the projects that I've been working on. I am finding it very challenging to sit down on a regular basis with a good chunk of time to actually talk about everything that I'm doing. So I think I'm just going to alleviate some of that pressure off of me and not try to make sure I talk about every single thing, because there are a lot of things. There are a lot of little things that I do knit-wise, like little gifts and things here and there that are just not that interesting, not that important, and then fly off my needles super quickly anyways, so that I don't really get a chance to actually say anything to you about it. An example of that is just like a baby sweater that I'm working on currently for my friend's baby who's due next month. She's having a baby boy, so I'm doing like a little brown, simple raglan sweater. I think this is size 1 to 3 months, I'm pretty sure. And then I think I'm going to add a little pocket and maybe a little bit of embroidery, like a little teddy bear or something on it. But yeah, stuff like this, I use stash yarn that some of it I don't even know where I got it or what it was exactly. And I just do kind of more simple things usually for baby knits. Occasionally I'll do something a little bit more exciting for a gift baby knit, but I do a lot of gift baby knitting, so a lot of it is just really simple stuff. And yeah, it's cute and it's nice to work on, but it's also not worth me putting pressure on myself to constantly think, oh, I need to update the videos on it. So anyway, that's me alleviating myself from that pressure. But I did want to talk to you specifically about two of the projects that I have been working on. Well, one of them I've been working on and one of them I finished a little while ago, but I haven't had a chance to actually properly debrief with you about how it went. So I think I'll just actually start with my work in progress, my current work in progress, so that I can allocate more time for the finished object that I actually want to talk to you a lot about. So you've seen this before, but it is the Waffle Loop Scarf by Other Loops. Which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side? Okay, this is the right side. Actually, I can show you both probably. All right, is that in focus? And then that's the wrong side. Okay, so yeah, this is my first Other Loops project, and I started this on my little trip that I went to Squamish with my friend, and I really like it. I do like a sort of triangular, smaller scarf. This is not going to be super small. It's actually going to wrap around quite a few times. It's not like a tiny one, but it's definitely not like a chunky scarf, I think. I do really like it. The one thing I will say that I don't like about the pattern is that there isn't a chart, and so it's all written instructions. And while I will say that it's somewhat memorizable, it's not completely memorizable. And I will try to explain this in a way that doesn't give away the pattern. The increases are not made every other row. They're made 3 times out of 8 rows, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's what makes it not memorizable. The pattern itself, like the waffle stitch with the knits and purls that make this sort of waffly texture, which I don't even know if you can really see it because this yarn is so fuzzy, but that is very memorizable. But whether or not I have to make an increase at the end, it's hard to tell with this yarn, and it's hard for me to memorize exactly where those increases go. So that's the only gripe I have about the pattern, and then that it doesn't have a chart. But I actually wrote myself out a chart anyways because I didn't want to have to look at the written pattern every single time. I find it way easier to just glance down at a chart. So I wrote one in my notebook to correlate with the pattern. So I will be increasing for a while, and then I will be knitting straight for quite a while, and then I will be decreasing. So it's not quite a triangle. It will have some like even bits in the middle, which I'm actually really looking forward to getting to, so that I don't have to think about the increases and I can just knit without having to think. But for now, I'm still increasing. And this yarn, of course, if you've been here before, is the Angora yarn that I picked up on that little roadside yarn shop that I happened upon as I needed to use the washroom on our road trip in France this past summer. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's so soft. It's very fibery, like it's shedding on me as I'm just speaking about it. I'm hoping that'll calm down eventually. It's very soft on my neck. I don't think that it will be bothersome at all. This is way softer than a mohair to me. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it is a 70% Angora and then 30% merino, I'm pretty sure. And it needs that merino for just stability because the Angora hairs are so short that they don't spin well together just by themselves. So that's why that's in there. But either way, it's super, super soft. I'm really enjoying working on this when I can get the chance. But I do have to be prepared every time I pull it out that I am going to be covered in Angora fibers afterwards. So I'm not sure that it's the best thing to work on if you're wearing black or if you're out in public about to go to like a special event or something like that. So I do bear that in mind when I'm working on it. Okay, that's my main whip. The baby sweater and the scarf are my two main whips for right now. And then one of the projects that I wanted to talk to you about a little bit more in depth is the Vilma top that I made in September. And I wore this at Knit City, Vancouver at the end of September. And I do really like it. I do actually wear it quite a bit. I think I'm going to wear it a lot more now that we're moving into the Christmas season. We're in like mid-November right now. I will be wearing it a lot more in the Christmas season, but I have been wearing it a lot recently. But I had a really hard time with this pattern, to be honest. So I would like to just chat about it a little bit because I know this is a really popular pattern and I know that other people have been messaging me about it and people have been asking me what the pattern is. And I just want to give the pattern a massive caveat because I really struggled with it. So it's a beautiful top, but it gave me so much grief for some reason, and a few other people I know have experienced the same. So first, I will say that this pattern is DK weight. It's for a DK weight. It's supposed to be on 4mm needles, I believe, and it's knit bottom up, starting with a provisional cast on, which I hate. And I don't know why she did that. Okay, I have a theory as to why she did that, but I don't know for sure. And I will tell you my theory. So you start at the bottom right before this, like, oh, can you even see that? Here, I'll fold it up and then, there we go. There's the bottom. So you start right here to go up. So you're knitting this whole band at the very end. You pick up your stitches from your provisional cast on and knit down. And my theory is that because of that, you can still decide on the length of your piece. You can adjust how long you want it to be, which is wonderful. But she never specifies that in the pattern at all. So it's just very straightly said, you knit down now. And so I think it would have been helpful to maybe clarify why it was from the beginning that we did a provisional cast on working up to work that bottom. I mean, you could probably figure it out yourself, but I just feel like that would be helpful, especially for beginners or people who are unfamiliar with the provisional cast on. This is the reason why we're doing it. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, sizing and gauge wise. I knitted a gauge swatch on I should say first, this yarn is Briggs & Little Sport. So I went with a sport yarn instead of a DK yarn, and I was just going to adjust size according to how my gauge swatch turned out because I just really liked the color of this yarn and I couldn't find the DK version in this color in the yarn shop that I was in at the time. So I went with the sport one. I knitted up my swatch in the exact right needles and the exact right number of stitches, and I got the exact perfect gauge. So I was like, bang on. Okay, we're going to go ahead with this. I know that this top you probably want a little bit of positive ease with it, so you can wear it over top of something. It's not like something that would be clinging to you. So I took that into account when deciding on the size. And so I wanted it to be a little bit more boxy, a little bit more oversized. So I decided on the size 5. My measurements definitely fit a size 4 a little bit more, but I wanted a little bit more room and positive ease to put kind of those bigger, poofier dresses underneath that I have. So I went with a size 5. So I started with my provisional cast on and I started knitting, and it was massive. I think I did cover this in a few videos back, like some of the process of this, but it was absolutely massive. Like it could fit maybe 2.5 of me. And I was like, this is really confusing because my gauge was so perfect. I don't know why, like my swatch turned out perfectly. So I decided to start again, and I went down a needle size, I believe. I might be mixing up the order in which I did this, but yeah, I went down a needle size to 3.5 millimeter needles, and then I went down a size to size 4. Started knitting it, still very large. Granted, a little bit smaller than last time, but very, very large, way larger than I wanted it to be. So I was like, what is going on? And I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, I don't like doing provisional cast on. This is really fidgety. And so I frogged that one again. And I thought, you know what? I can work the pattern backwards. I don't need to do the provisional cast on. I can start from the very bottom. I can work the pattern backwards. I know how to do this. I can do it. I'm a big girl. So I did that, and I went down to the size 2. I was like, okay, I know it's a little bit of a risk skipping the 3 and just going down to 2, but it was so massive. So that is what I actually ended on. This is knitted in size 2 on 3.5 millimeter needles. And it fits me perfectly. And I did not do the provisional cast on. And it doesn't look any different than it would have. Like in the pattern pictures, it doesn't look any different. I worked from the very bottom. I followed the instructions backwards. And then from here, I followed the instructions how they are meant to be. So that was my main modification, is doing that. I know a couple other people, I heard later a couple of other people doing that as well, just skipping the provisional cast on altogether, and it worked out for them. So yeah, take that as you want to, but you can do that if you want to. It works out. It's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't do the provisional cast on. I do understand if you do want to lengthen it, then you can. But I think if I would have knitted this top again, I would do it the same way. If in the future I will knit this top again, I will do it the same way, where I'll start at the bottom, work backwards. And maybe I'll add a couple more repeats just to make it a tad bit longer, because it is very cropped. And I was warned that it would be very cropped, and it is. I'm okay with that because I wear it over dresses and skirts. That's it. I don't wear jeans at all. I don't own a pair of jeans. I don't really wear pants very often. So yeah, I'm either in athletic wear or dresses and skirts, but mostly dresses and skirts. So anyway, this is reserved for that. Is there anything else I want to say about the bottom? I think that's it as far as the bottom goes. The other modification that I made is that I did, I think 4 or 6, I can't remember, extra rows up in this chunk, on these chunks up here, because I noticed that it sits very, very close to the neck, like directly on the neck in all of the pattern pictures that I've seen. And because this wool is quite rustic, I didn't want it like suffocating my neck. So I added a little bit more length here and here so that this part would sit further down. And it still does sit very close to my neck, but I'm glad that I did that because I don't want it any closer than it already is. So yeah, I just needed some extra room on the top, and it worked out fine. Everything worked out. Other than that, the pattern is to pattern. There's a lovely join at the very shoulder. I was thinking about doing Kitchener stitch just to make the seam really clean, but I actually do like that sort of bump that they have up there. I'm not sure if you can see that. And I think it's a really pretty detail. overall, this top is absolutely gorgeous. It's popular for a reason. I really like it. I would like to knit another one, but I'm also intimidated by the fact that my gauge was so off. And even though I worked it out the first time, I don't know if working with a different type of yarn would be able to kind of replicate that at all. So I'm going to hold off for a while. But for now, this is really lovely. And it's a beautiful addition to a Christmas outfit. I actually have a Christmas dress that I wear every year that this goes perfectly with. So I might add some B-roll of me wearing it to the video so that you can see. But yeah, this is my most recent finished object for myself. I did also do my Olga jacket, which I've talked about briefly as well, and there's nothing much to say about that. I know that a lot of people have knitted the Olga jacket or Olga sweater, and I don't feel that I have anything extra to add that hasn't been said already, but I do really love that as well, and I wear that very often. The only thing that I will say about it is that it's yarn over buttonholes, and the buttons are really big, and there's like a thread on the top button that just won't sit in place. It keeps coming kind of in the way of the button, and I think I just need to sew it back because every time I loop my button in, it gets caught. But that's just the thing with kind of this unfinished yarn over buttonhole look. The threads sometimes get a little bit caught, but particularly bad on that top button for some reason. So I will fix that eventually because I don't want anything to rip or break. Please, no, I don't want that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I did finish another gift knit that I just told you I wasn't going to tell you about, but I actually really like how they turned out. So I'll insert a picture. This is I used the penny glove pattern because I already owned it from PetiteKnit, but I did a contrasting color on the cuffs, the top, the bottom, and the thumb, and then I did a little bit of ribbing instead of doing like that pearl ridge, and I did a little bit of embroidery as well. So that's for my friend who just had her birthday last week, and so I got an invitation to her like birthday dinner and stuff like that. I always tell myself that I'm gonna like tone it down when it comes to gift knitting. Like I don't need to just stress myself out about gift knitting. I can take my time with other things and enjoy my work, but then when I get an invite to something, I'm like, oh, I can make something handmade. I should make something handmade. And so I always give in. I always do. But I enjoy it. I do get stressed out about it, but I enjoy it. But yeah, I finished those for her. She loved them. They're definitely her style. They are a bit like funky and quirky, but that's how she is. And I just really think that they suit her so well. Hi, welcome back to the greenhouse. It's been a while since you've been here with me, but this is the place with the best lighting at this time of year, so we're gonna go with it. You may hear from my voice that I am a bit sick. Our whole family is sick right now. The past week has been really difficult. But hopefully we're on the mend. It is now nearing the end of November, so we're on the 23rd today, and I thought I would just update you a little bit about two projects. One that I started since I filmed my last segment from this video at the beginning of the video, and then another one that I just haven't spoken about really at all. But if you've seen my fall or autumn plans video, then you may have seen what I'm going to show you. So I'll start with that. This is the beginning of the Siri cardigan, and I haven't gotten very far, and I haven't picked it up for maybe a month now. So I started it at the beginning of October, I want to say, or maybe end of September, and I worked on it through the first chart repeat, and I haven't really picked it up since. So I just wanted to quickly show you that I have actually started working on it, but it hasn't gotten very far. I am using the alpaca and cotton cone that I got from Knit City, which I bought at the Kensington Prairie Farms booth, and then I'm holding it together with Drops Flora, which is a wool alpaca blend. So it's alpaca, wool, and cotton all together, this whole cardigan. And something I didn't realize about this pattern is that it's kind of like the ranunculus in that it starts off the same. So no matter what size you are knitting, you'll knit this section. So this is the full chart worked one time, and then depending on what size you're knitting, you'll make more increases and more chart. You'll repeat the chart however many times, I guess, like repeat the rows in the chart. Anyway, I don't know if I'm explaining that properly, but everyone starts with the same number of stitches. Am I in focus? I feel like I'm maybe not. I've been having such a hard time with the focus on this camera lately, and I don't really know why, but it just decides to not be in focus when I think it is, but it's hard to tell from the little viewfinder whether I'm in focus or not, so hopefully I am. Yeah, so anyway, I haven't really done not that much to say about it. I do enjoy it. It definitely has taken me a lot of mental work to kind of work out the increases as well as the chart when things are changing all the time. Sorry, I feel like I'm not explaining that very well. It's definitely mine's own project. It's not something that I can just pick up and do on the go. I have to really think about what I'm doing and read the chart carefully. So I think that's why maybe I put it down. There were some other projects that came up instead, and yeah. But I like the way it is looking so far. So, of course, this won't do it justice to kind of just throw it over my shoulders, but hopefully that gives you a sort of idea of what it looks like a little bit. Also, I'm wearing my Gro Hat by Fiber Tales, and this is something that I knitted just in October, actually. So again, forgot to mention it, but I knit it up really quickly, and then I brought it to my trip to Squamish. So yeah, I'll show you. It was a super quick project, and the yarn was gifted to me by my friend Martina, and she doesn't know, or maybe she does, but I don't know where it came from. I think it's wool, and it seemed to be DK, so I decided to make it into the Gro Hat, and it worked out well. And this is the second time I've knitted the Gro Hat, and I really like Fiber Tales patterns and how she writes them. So there we go. Okay, and then this project I started knitting on since the last time I filmed for this video, and that is a sweater for my friend's son who's turning 2. And I know I just said that I wasn't going to talk to you about all the gift knits that I'm doing, but this one's actually quite exciting, so I do want to show you. yeah, so this is sort of self-drafted. I used the stitch count and the measurements for the cross sweater by PetiteKnit, cross sweater junior by PetiteKnit, because I've knitted that one before and I own the pattern, so I decided to use that. And then I self-drafted all of the texture that is happening in the sweater. And this is sort of loosely based on a sweater that my friend and I saw in a vintage shop a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago. I'll insert a picture of what that sweater looked like, and she really liked that sweater and almost bought it for her son. And then I decided to kind of take the inspiration from that and make her son a sweater with that in mind. But I actually like my version a lot better. So this is the front, and this is the back. As you can see, I've kind of jumped around at like what sort of motifs I'm doing. I'm not doing it kind of evenly. I'm going by feel. I haven't like written this out beforehand. I'm just going by how I feel the next motif needs to look. So I started off at the back with just a simple seed stitch up here. And then I did like a waffle stitch texture from the waffle loop scarf, so that's the same texture there. Here I did a sort of stockinette plus a little bit of a cable in the stockinette, and you can't really tell, maybe you can, it's like a bit wavy, it's just a tiny bit wavy, yeah, which is nice. And then here's some garter rows with some more like kind of knit rows in between to break it up. And then I'll just show you what's on the front. So on the front we have like a simple cable on this side. I think it was four stitches in each cable, and then 3 garter in between. And then on this side it's like a smocking stitch. And then I did a row, like a few rows of seed stitch just on this side. And then I'm doing basically the exact same cable down here. I don't know if you can, it's very hard to like hold it up and show it at the same time. Okay, I'm doing the exact same cable down here as I did up here, but it's 6 row cables instead of 4, and I alternated the direction of the twist. So the twist is going the opposite way. And then I did the waffle texture again over here. So yeah, I'm just going to keep working on that and change it up as I feel that I need to. I think I'm just going to do the sleeves straight stockinette, nothing fancy, just to keep it simple from the front, which is exactly how the inspiration sweater was. So yeah, the yarn I'm using for it is Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And I don't know what the color is called, but it's 6280. So some sort of rusty, burnt umber type color. And this is sort of the color that she wanted, or she expressed to me. She did tell me that she's tired of putting her son in blue, and she wishes that she could put him in a little bit more like orange and rust and green and whatever. So I took that as a hint and went with that color. So that's that. I am quite pleased with it. I think it's a lot of fun. It does take a lot of concentration because I'm generally working on 4 different motifs at once as I go around the row. So like at the moment, I didn't really talk about what I'm doing now, but I talked about my completed ones. But at the moment I'm doing the waffle, the cable, and then when I come around down here, I'm doing the smocking stitch again. And then a like double seed stitch, or like 2-row seed stitch. So I kind of just have to keep track of it, but I have stitch markers to indicate the end of each round or each section. And yeah, I think I'll only be working 4 different ones at once. I don't really want to give myself any more than that. I think it'll just be 2 on the front, 2 on the back. But it's really lovely. I think this will drape really nicely. I can't wait to see how it is when it's blocked out, because some of the
some of the motifs, like such as the cable ones, kind of scrunch up a bit more, and then when you block it, it really like spreads out, and it will look a lot more even, I think, after that. So I'm looking forward to that. But that is sort of a main whip that I've been working on this week in between doctor's visits and yeah, all of that. My daughter had croup this past week, so we went to the hospital and we're coming out of it. But that was scary. If you have had a kid with severe croup before, then bless you, because that was scary. Anyway, just wanted to update you on that really quick, and then I think I'm just gonna get this video out like tonight or something. Now that I'm feeling a bit better, I can sit down on my laptop and just get it out. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Next is Christmassy content. So, and I've been thinking about it and working on it a little bit. I'm making wreaths for my flower stand. I'm going to be selling wreaths out of my flower stand either next week or the week after, depending on how organized I can get myself in that time. But I have been prepping things behind the scenes, so I think you'll see little clips of that maybe in the next video, and I'm really excited to get going with that. I'm also leading a workshop, a wreath making workshop at my church next week. So things to get organized for Christmas, and yeah, very exciting things. But this is such a beautiful time of year. I don't know, I think a lot of people think November is really dreary, and I guess it is, but I like it. I think it's that really beautiful mix between autumn and winter, and you just get a lot of stillness, a lot of storms, and a lot of stillness in between. And so it's kind of that back and forth push and pull that I like about this season. And yeah, I'm not in the Christmas spirit yet. This isn't Christmas to me. November is definitely still fall, but yeah, it's getting there, and I'm looking forward to what we're moving into. Thanks.